the Empress ruthlessly killed the Emperor. She had backed him to the throne with her powerful family, and that was exactly why he had grown wary of her. In a dream, she foresaw that he would execute her for treason during his royal tour. Sure enough, she found forged handwriting in her name on his person. At that moment, a male companion walked into the wrong room. He immediately apologized and turned to leave, only to notice the Emperor lying on the floor. Meanwhile, the Empress was surprised to see he looked just like the Emperor in build. She pretended to pull out her hairpin and threatened him to act as the Emperor. The man panicked and tried to flee, but she coldly blamed the murder on him, threatening to call the guards if he refused. He had no choice but to agree to her plan. Satisfied, the Empress handed him a mask and told him to put it on. Little did she know, the man was already wearing a mask, and beneath it was a face identical to the dead Emperor's. Years earlier, the Empress Dowager had given birth to twin boys. One was raised as the beloved crown prince, while the other was sent to the distant borderlands. As he grew up, the man had been investigating his origins, and he learned that a secret of the royal family was tattooed on the Empress's back. That's why he decided to disguise himself as a male companion to get near her. When he stepped out, the Empress was stunned. It was as if the Emperor had come back to life. She demanded to know who he really was. The man gave her a name, which only deepened her suspicion. Just as she raised her hairpin to strike, he angrily rebuked her for her rudeness. His tone satisfied her, for it was a convincing performance of the Emperor's authority. They then buried the real Emperor in a remote wilderness. On the way back to the capital, the Empress handed him a book of royal portraits to study. The man pointed to an unfamiliar face and asked who he was, and she replied that he was the abandoned prince. It was rumored that he was so hideous that his mother sent him to the border, where he eventually gained control of the military. Yet the man remarked that perhaps the prince wasn't ugly at all. She gave him a puzzled look but thought little of it, then turned to the portrait of the Empress Dowager. At the sight of her, the man's smile froze. This was the mother who had abandoned him. He struggled to contain the surge of bitterness within him. As night fell, the carriage arrived at the palace. The Empress took his hand and told him not to worry, she would protect him. The man squeezed her hand tightly in return. Just then, a eunuch came to receive them. He soon noticed that the Emperor's voice sounded different and began to voice his doubts. But the Empress slapped him hard across the face, declaring that the Emperor had hurt his throat during the tour. He immediately knelt and begged for mercy. And so, the false Emperor's first appearance succeeded. When the Empress returned to her palace, the eunuch presented a tray of crafted pastries. He said they were the most praised delicacy of the season, named Sweet Dew. The Empress picked one up with great interest. Her maid explained that the pastries had nothing to do with dew, they were made with mango. Yet the eunuch panicked, for the real Emperor was severely allergic to mango, and eating even a bit could be fatal. Hearing this, the Empress rushed to his palace to stop him.